Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.
Hello, everyone. I am unmuted, yes. My name is Kaja May, and welcome to the... Oh, I forgot to mute that site. Welcome to Game Over Vancouver. The Vancouver Canucks just lost 5-4 in a shootout to the Nashville Predators. In a game that I really thought was gonna be 4-2, or, maybe 4-3. Maybe we got lucky. No, Kuzmenko was just like, yeah, what is a tank? And just shot it. Anyway, before we get into the show, just a quick little message. Want to bet? Then get in on the action at Sports Interaction. The boys of summer are back on the diamond, and March Madness is on deck. Bet pregame, live and play are on one of our many prop bets. Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, play, and cash out. Head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN, or in Ontario, download the app now using the QR code. I always point the wrong way, at the bottom of the screen. 19 plus, please play responsibly. Alright, now we've introduced, kind of the mood for tonight, just seeing it so close, but then also, do we want to be that close? I am here with Ryan Schaap of the Pucks on Net podcast. How are you tonight?
I am fantastic. I know we're talking about the Canucks and we're talking about their game against Nashville, but a lot of us have a vested tank interest. So to you, to the people in the chat, the viewers, Chicago has tied it up very late to force overtime. So loser points to Vancouver, loser points to Chicago tonight. There are some positives to come out of this disgusting show of competitiveness to force that game to overtime into a shootout. So
now, imagine they win. They're playing Vegas. Imagine they win.
Well, Christmas would be coming early then.
Oh yeah. All right. Getting into kind of tonight's game, what were your expectations? Nashville, they're kind of a mid-team. They're where we are trying to be, or where we thought we'd be. They're, on the cusp of the playoff bubble, which is easy to do in the West Conference. But, just what were your thoughts heading into a team, especially, they're missing Philip Forsberg, who's one of their kind of offensive big guys. Well,
I thought I didn't have a lot of faith in the Canucks tonight. Nashville going in was 5 points out of wild card 2. That's, there was a time when the Canucks that was their Super Bowl, was being that close to wild card 2. But they're trying to get in the playoffs. It is a logjam of mediocrity in the West. And with OEL being put on the injured reserve and Luke Shen flying home, I'm like, there is a good chance that this could be a very quick and easy slaughter in the water in Nashville. So we're all hoping for Connor Bedard here. So I was gearing up for a less than stellar performance from the Canucks, but they proved us all wrong in the 59th minute as we all were getting ready to do this show. So yeah, not the best.
The amount of times, well, I mean, this has happened. This is the second time, but the amount of times the Canucks, I'm just like, I'm so set on a show plan. We're going to talk about them being bad. And oh, wow, they tied it up. And we're going to overtime. The other one, I think they won. It was the Carolina game. They did win. But yeah.
That was one you kind of wanted them to win. Like, Bruce was still
Bruce
here.
Was still here. It's been a month. Yeah. I just realized that today. It's been a month since.
Yeah.
Well, not since he got fired, because that was the day after, but the day we all knew he was going to get fired was weeks before that. But, like, the Edmonton game was the 21st.
Yeah, it was, we knew it, but the fact that we knew he was getting fired, like, 6 weeks, starting about 6-7 weeks ago, still feels just insane, because that feels like years ago.
Yeah. This team has gone through a lot this season. Like you said, OEL is injured now. He has an ankle sprain sustained during early in the New York Rangers game. I was there. I don't know. I just saw OEL, and then I just saw him disappear from the bench, and I was like, oh no, that's not good. The Lazar injury, well, that was obviously Jacob Trouba. I feel like he's to blame for a lot of injuries these days, but...
You were there?
I was at the Rangers game, yeah.
Wait, That
On
wasn't in New
Wednesday.
York. Okay.
Oh no, on Wednesday. Yeah.
I was like, wait, where were they playing? I'm like, where are you?
Yeah. The first goal. Okay, I have a question. Did you
Yep.
think that was offside? The first Nashville goal.
It was like it was razor thin, and in those situations where they've already called it a goal, you're really punching out of your weight class, and they need definitive proof. So I kind of looked at it, and I didn't see anything too egregious, but I did just watch I watched yesterday or this morning the behind the scenes video that the Canucks put out of the video team working. So I'm like, well, if Mark Crawford's son is telling him to challenge it, he seems like an upstanding citizen. So I had faith, but yeah, it was a little too close. Did you watch that video?
I did not watch that video
It was
actually.
pretty good. I recommend
Okay,
it.
I will. I usually watch the all access stuff, but I have not gotten to it yet. But yeah, I don't know. I was like, it could go either way here. Just because of the way his skate was. It was like kind of off, kind of not. The puck was obviously on the other side. It wasn't like the Cale Makar weird one where he passed
Yeah.
it. Yeah, like that whole. That's like the weirdest non-offside call I've ever seen. And so it's like that's my go-to for like any questionable offside or like anything of that. But yeah, nothing aside from that, not a lot happened in the first
No,
period.
a hell of a dull first period, to the point where I was writing down things that impressed me. And it was, I know on my notes, I'm like, oh, there was a defensive breakdown. There was another defensive breakdown. And there was another defensive breakdown, which led to a penalty. And then I also had nice structure. And there was a couple moments in the first period where the Canucks were on the power play in the offensive zone, but they gave up the puck. And I'm like, oh, well, this is not going to be good. And JT Miller, under Rick Tocchet, put himself in a situation to block and prevent a clearing attempt. And I was like, why? He's growing, he's evolving, he's learning. So I had on my notes, nice structure, 3 defensive breakdowns for Vancouver, also 3. So a wash, if you will.
Yeah. I had for my notes for the first, I literally just started writing about the boards, like the digital ads. I was just like, Oman just disappeared into the boards. Saros' elbow at one point. Elias Pettersson kind of got morphed into a dark blue Canucks hoodie at one point. Yeah, we went 1 for 4 on the power play. Overall. Apparently we're 10th in the league or something around that nature for the power play. From a graphic during the game, we've probably gone down, but we had 3 shots on the second power play, 1 on the first, which literally just hit Saros in the head. The goaltender interference call for on Roman Josi was really funny. Like, I didn't know that was a call, because, like, Delia's jumping up to grab the puck, Josi crashes into him. I just wrote big man crash. That was big man crash.
There was a lot of big man crash in this game, and like this was a perfect game of two teams that were like, let's just hope they have fun and nobody gets hurt. And Ryan Johansson has the worst night ever. They're trying to kill Podkolzin multiple times. Like Tanner Jeannot, like I guess he owes him money or something. And I was like, can you guys just not get hurt? Like that's what we're hoping for, because this is a bit of a tank battle here. And if we go to the chat, and I did just see the Chicago Blackhawks have won in overtime.
Oh, wow. Kane
the
almost
tank
had
is
a
fine.
Butter beezer?
A butter beezer?
Buzzer beater.
But enough about the third period of tonight's Canucks game, am I right?
I know. Yeah, exactly. Buzzer beater. That's the word. Yeah. And leading up to the 2-0 goal by Tomasino, who, fun fact, he has 12 career goals. A quarter of them are against the Vancouver Canucks.
Ah, yes, the Milan Hajduk of bottom 6, unremarkable bottom 6 grinders and special teams penalty killers that kill the Canucks and only the Canucks. I saw that stat too, and I'm like, oh well, of course, of all the people of this person, I'm hearing this name for the first time tonight. Of course, he's got that many goals against the Canucks.
Of course, it's his first of the year in the 5 games he's played because Philip Forsberg is out, and yeah. Di Giuseppe, I really liked his game tonight. I think he's definitely had a good call up. That might also be just because I'm a Phil Di Giuseppe fan, but
why are you a big Phil Di Giuseppe fan?
He almost got a hat trick when I went to an Abbotsford game.
Well, case closed. Nothing else to argue there.
I just also think he's fun. So
he is a fun player, and he was really noticeable tonight. Like I'm like, oh, there's Phil Di Giuseppe again, and he was on a fun line with Besser and Miller, and
noted second line winger.
Listen, if you are a Vancouver Canuck and you are not playing on the Sheldon Dries line of insignificance, like you're having a good time. And yeah, he was noticeable. He was making plays. Miller, when he wasn't just turning the puck over and just being his usual confusing self, he made Phil Giuseppe, made him open, got him a lot of opportunities, and just made the most of that spot on that alleged second line, whatever it may be.
The alleged second line. Yeah, because Tocchet really likes putting his lines kind of in a blender, which is like a term often used. I mean, Boudreaux used to do this too, but Chicago no goal shootout time.
Yeah. Welcome to Game Over for Chicago Blackhawks as we talk about how problematic the team is, the history of the team, the logo, and its famous alumni.
Oh, yeah. Kaner knew. Have you seen that tweet?
Oh, God.
Why is that still up?
Delete.
How's your social media person just that not knowing?
Kaner knew, Quenneville knew, Taves knew, Seabrook knew. They all knew.
Who else was on that team? Marian Hossa?
He knew.
Bufflin?
Dustin Bufflin knew. Antti Niemi knew. Brent Sopel also knew.
Which I also find insane that Bufflin knew, and then he just kind of quiet quit the Winnipeg Jets because there was a toxic workforce. But anyway. This is not Chicago. Let's talk about Kuzmenko.
Andre Kuzmenko. When's the last time you drank a Coke and paired it with a banana? How recently?
People do that to throw up. Like, I was so scared. No, it's Sprite and banana, which is the combo. Yeah, that's the thing.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But Kuzmenko is certainly an interesting character. I was working when that game happened, and I just went on Twitter after I was done, and I was just, why is everyone talking about bananas?
It's a Saturday night game against the Philadelphia Flyers of two teams that are awful at hockey. If the one of the two positive things of this season can do something quirky and prevent us from talking about where Luke Schen's going to be traded or JT Miller did this, then it's a win. But Kuzmenko, he's not on Team Tank, I guess, in terms of players you want to invest in long term. You kind of want that. You don't want Mason McTavish texting Connor Bedard every time the Ducks lose to be like, you're coming this way.
That's so screwed up.
I'm really glad I'm hearing that should have been more of a story. Like that is like that's your losing shitty culture of just like you don't want that.
The Anaheim Ducks. Yeah, no, it's certainly something like Anaheim definitely has not had a great year.
Mm-hmm.
But and I understand Mason McTavish is younger than I am.
That is impossible.
That is impossible. Okay, I am Mason McTavish.
I think he was just on the World Juniors, so
2003, January 30th. So he's about a month and a half younger than me. So technically, I understand from a certain level of close level immaturity, but at the same time, how you could also tell Connor Bedard hasn't been media trained because there's no way that would have gotten out if he was like.
Yeah, that's something you keep under your you keep close to the vest while all this is happening.
Yeah.
That's not going to look good in the RFA negotiations.
Oh gosh, yeah.
But Kuzmenko tonight, I love him. He is a bright spot on the year. He's fun as hell. Excellent diet. He scored a beautiful goal that brought it within. Did he score the 2-1 goal?
He scored the 2-1 goal.
I don't know what you're giggling about over there.
Great diet.
Great diet. His diet is a TikTok challenge. But he had that goal. He had a beautiful goal that he was just sprung wide open, split the D, and then in over to force overtime to tie it up. Cheeky little play to just get the puck on his stick and to redirect it, and unfortunately send it for overtime. Out of town scoreboard, the Chicago Blackhawks have won in the shootout, so everything is right in the world. Just like it doesn't matter if Andrei Kuzmenko is ruining the tank, the Blackhawks will prop us back up.
Thank you, Chicago Blackhawks. Never said that in my life.
Yeah, well, that's the first and hopefully last time we utter those words.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're talking about how much we loved, how fun Andrei Kuzmenko was tonight, who was the bizarro Andrei Kuzmenko? Who was your I don't know, who was your dud of the game? Because I think we might have the same answer.
If it isn't Tyler Myers. Oh my gosh, he was on ice for all 4 Nashville goals. I was surprised they didn't let him skate a lap during the shootout just in case. Definitely could have seen that happen. But he ended up being a -3, so which means he was on ice for 1 goal.
Does anybody know which goal he was on the ice for that brought it down to a -3?
He was on ice for 20 minutes and 9 seconds.
And he had a shot on goal. Offensive juggernaut and playmaking defenseman Tyler Myers not doing much of anything. A lot of defensemen for the Canucks did not look good tonight. I'm thinking of Riley Stillman. There was an opportunity again in my laundry list of defensive breakdowns by the Canucks. There was one where Riley Stillman and Tyler Myers collide into each other. They in front of Colin Delia. I can't remember which one it is. I always
think it's Delia?
Yeah, it's not Delia. That's the problematic grooming comedian. But
oh yeah, that guy. Sorry, I completely forgot about that dude. Continue.
Yeah, they bump into each other. Then there's 3 failed opportunities to get the puck out of their own end, and then it results in a Nashville goal. And there were so many times tonight where defensive breakdown might involve Tyler Myers, might be behind his own goalie, causing a disturbance. He is causing a ruckus, and he brought the motherfucking ruckus if he was the Wu-Tang Clan tonight.
I have Myers mentioned 7 times in my document. Lineup is the first one. The goal is Myers hiding behind Delia on the first goal. The third one is the second goal when Barrier and Myers get signals crossed before the blue line, and then that was
a bad one.
Yeah, and then Tomasino just goes through and behind everybody. The fourth mention, the Niederreiter goal. There was a lot of people on Nashville that I forgot signed to Nashville. Nino Niederreiter are in Nashville now. Ryan McDonough was traded there. I completely forgot about him being there, and I was just like, oh yeah, noted former Rangers captain.
Yeah, there's a who's who there right now.
I know. And then 3-2 Niederreiter, 12 seconds after we tied it. Myers is once again behind the goalie. Myers fell and allowed a 3-on-2. 4-2, Myers ran into linesman and Delia has to save him. Myers has been on ice for all 4 goals.
and I used to work in sports broadcasting, and I would do graphics, and I would always love to cobble together a shame graphic. And if somebody's having a really bad game, and you put a bit of a cheeky headline on there, like I don't know, I'd be like, Tyler Myers, it would be like stumbling and fumbling tonight, or something like that I would want to make together. I would have a hell of a good shame graphic for Tyler Myers tonight, and a basic anecdote, like when you're a defenseman, like day one stuff. Don't go behind the net. You don't need to go behind the goalie. You should be in front of the goalie to defend. And he chose not to listen that day.
He decided, no, I'm just going to go on my own path. You know when giraffes are learning to walk?
It's the cutest, isn't it?
It's like when their legs are all like odd and their mom keeps kicking them, because that's a real thing that giraffe moms do. Learn that. Yeah, that felt like when he fell and then allowed the 4-2 goal to happen. Also, Hughes almost fell too. Like, he just tripped on seemingly nothing while he was also in possession behind the net. And I was like, is the ice in Nashville just bad?
Yeah.
Like, did they throw the Mardi Gras beads on it, or?
I love they cut to the Predators radio guy, and he's got the Mardi Gras beads going. Yeah. That guy knows how to have a good time.
Yes. Anyway, continuing with the game. What did you think about Christian Wolanin?
He was a player. He played for the Canucks. He played defense. He played 18 minutes, which was about 6 more than I thought he would. And he didn't do anything to stand out. And when you are a rookie, a younger defenseman, if you can just play the game and not screw up or not be noticeable, you're having a good night. Like, that was Chris Tanev for the first few years of his career. Like, if you don't get noticed, if you don't cough up the puck, if you are not Keith Ballard or Tyler Myers just blowing up your spot, you're gonna be fine. Like, the fact that a relatively inexperienced kid could come up from Abbotsford and just not fumble the ball, fine by me. That's great to see. What about you?
He is almost 28.
I don't know who he is. No,
you said you're like a kid, and I was like, wait a second. How? I was like, I get confused sometimes about like the Abbotsford player. I do think Christian Wolanin is very good for Abbotsford. And yeah, like you said, it's great to, like, I don't want to say not be noticeable, but it's great to kind of fly under the radar, especially on a team that is horribly defensively.
Yes. That's all you can hope for tonight. 71 NHL games. I stand corrected. He's got a lot of jerseys already.
I know he was drafted by Ottawa. Anyway, yes. And then in the shootout, I just wanted to mention this because, of course, John Shorthouse mentioned it. The winning goal scored by Matt Duchene. Ew. He just not a fan.
You're not a fan of old Matty Duchene?
Oh gosh, I want to go experience playoff hockey. That's what I want to do. I want to experience playoff hockey.
I don't like Joe Sakic anymore. We're friends off, me and Joe. I'd like to go to the Ottawa Senators.
Yes, because I will certainly be in the playoff hockey. And then Colorado wins a cup.
The laundry list of players traded from the Colorado Avalanche that seemed like a huge blow at the time, and now a few years removed, with hindsight, of course, they aren't missing much. They aren't missing Ryan O'Reilly. They're not missing Matt Duchene anymore, or Tyson Barrie.
I completely forgot about that. Ryan O'Reilly was a Colorado Avalanche.
And they all held out. Like, it's so wild to think of how that culture has changed. I have a question for you, and that was, what was the funniest line of the night?
The funniest line?
Yeah.
Like over the, like,
a comment. Yeah.
Oh, where I actually wrote it down, the one that I liked. The neither coach is gonna lose hair over this. That is the winner.
Yeah, I got that too. That cracked me up so much.
I loved that. I was just like, you gotta be kidding me. But of course. Speaking of commentary, Matt Duchene scores the winner. And it was his 69th shootout attempt in his career.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. All right. Before we get into the rest, just want to mention, like the video, comment down below, comment in chat if you're here with us live, subscribe to SDPN, rate and review if you're listening to this on a podcast platform. And yeah, let's get into the IR situation. Who said that? John Shorthouse. Let's get into the IR kind of situation and just kind of everything that's going on with the Canucks injury-wise. Shorty. Right?
John Shorthouse did make that joke, and John Garrett did, chime in about how good yet bad it was at the same time. And listen, when midweek Preds playing the Canucks, we're in the middle of a tank job to get Lynn Valley's own Connor Bedard. You got to make them laugh. You got to pop the viewers.
Zone. Lynn Valley zone. Yes.
He's coming. Don't worry.
Lynn Valley scares me.
Oh,
anyway.
it's the least hospitable neighborhood on the North Shore. Don't even get us started.
I just don't like driving anywhere past the bridge. Anywhere past there, I'm just like, no, thank you. I have not gone there. I have driven downtown, but I've not done that. Okay, so OEL is on IR. Let me read the laundry list of injuries we've had since January 21st. Okay, that's just William Lockwood on the 25th. So let's start at the 28th of January. Ilya McKay. It's just Will Lockwood, which we already know. He was cleared to play yesterday, and now he's back in Abbotsford. But go Will Lockwood. He is younger. So he can be classified as a kid.
Yeah.
Because he also looks like a child still.
No, he does, yeah.
Yeah. Like, he's like 23. I think him and Quinn Hughes, I think they both played for Michigan.
Will Lockwood looks like he could be in a Nickelodeon high school teen drama tomorrow and not be a stretch.
It would not, no one would question it. He's an extra on Good Luck Charlie. We're about to acquire a school child to fix $1 billion organization.
Oh, Connor, I'm here to tell you, pal. The Canucks are not worth $1 billion. They don't want to sell that. They don't want to sell that property. That's an inflated value right there. There's a lot of holes to patch on that Rogers Arena roof.
Definitely. All right. So January 28th, Ilya Mikheyev out for the season, ACL injury. Luke Shen, upper body, February 9th. Then he was cleared to play 2 days later, February 16th. So the day after the. It's all from Cat Friendly, by the way.
I'm on there too.
Oh yeah. God bless Cat Friendly. February 16th, day after the Rangers game. Oliver Ekman-Larsson has an injury to his lower body that was later updated to week on the 18th. Curtis Cesar has an injury to his lower body. Expected duration is day to day. Not too bad. Seemed to be leg related, I think. I don't know. Oliver Ekman-Larsson, we know it's like a sprain. It's like a sprained ankle or something like that. It's a sprain of some sort on your leg, which is not supposed to be there.
If this was a team that was competing for the playoffs, I feel like they would be kind of pushing through the pain. But there may be internally, maybe ownership, maybe management realized that now is the time to put everything on LTIR and come up with a plan right now because this is not looking good. And now there's $14 million on long-term injured reserve for the Canucks right now, which blows my mind.
Travis Dermott is also back on IR as well.
Oh my Lord.
And Tanner Pearson.
There's $20.5 million of injured players on the Canucks right now. I thought they hired a new medical staff. Wasn't that their big goal?
Yeah, but then have you, like, all the stuff that's come out about the medical staff that's been very questionable? Like Jason Dickinson playing for half the season with, like, a broken leg or something like that, and then he called them out after he left. Um,
Listen, it's so mind blowing that, you have a medical staff that, there are shades of gray in the decision they're making, but then to not have your communications team or your PR staff be like, here's how we should announce this so that your players don't have to go out the next morning and put out a tweet thread and be like, listen, there was no gun to my head forcing me to
yeah.
play. Like, this was a decision. Like, just it's oh it,
Yeah.
it's always the same situation with this team.
It's like nothing ever changes. Nothing ever changes. Yeah, so Ilya Mikheyev on LTIR, season ending because of ACL. Michael Furland, LTIR, but he's probably done.
That's a pre-COVID name. That's a
Yeah,
pre-COVID long-term injured reserve. Like, that was
that
a
was
strange
long
decision.
ago.
Mhm.
Tanner Pearson, obviously his hand situation. He was at the Dustin Brown statue ceremony. Fun fact.
Oh, that's nice. Good for
Yeah,
him. You'd hope he would be there.
yeah, because he was on the Kings for a bit. Yeah, I thought that was. There was like pictures of him from the event. I thought that was cool. Um, then Tucker Pullman, obviously as well on LTIR. Questionable if he's to return at
There's a
all.
ever
Ever.
Yeah, the scouting staff maybe forgot to do a little research into the medical files here, but I'm just stoked that these players are not, they're not gutting it out, and management clearly is like, hey, you know what? I think we're gonna call it there. And the Demko intrigue, but it all started with Mikheyev, like a
Mm-hmm.
direction. There was no we're gonna try for the wild card too. It was like, no, like 2-3 weeks ago, it's like, no, this is done.
Yeah.
And we're going to do all the smart decisions and put as much money into that long-term injured reserve pool. And hopefully, and this is whimsical, wishful thinking from my part, and you might agree with me, that all that cap space opens up and the Milan Lucic's or the I don't know, some nobody from Carolina, or some or a goalie from Dallas all of a sudden becomes a Canuck for a month and a half, and they weaponize the hell out of that cap space, and they formulate a plan going into the offseason. I don't know. That's what I want. That might be something you might want?
Milan Lucic?
Well, nobody wants Luch here, but the idea of Milan Lucic.
The idea is good. The execution could use some work.
Listen, when Luch gets here, there's a nagging underlying injury, and he gets put on LTIR the second he gets here.
I would not be surprised. I don't know. I feel like it would be definitely interesting for kind of it would be definitely interesting considering the Boston situation.
Mm-hmm.
Considering, he won a cup, but he's also from here, so that's kind of like the whole, like, do you come back for your hometown team? Don't pull a John Tavares, obviously, but you come back for your home.
Milan Lucic, I'm coming home.
I'm coming home. You get the picture of him sleeping in the Canucks sheets.
I still remember his old man was interviewed during the Stanley Cup round, and he goes, well, I'm from Vancouver and my son plays for Boston, so the Stanley Cup's coming to Vancouver one way or another. It doesn't really bother me too much. It's like, God, he had the best of both worlds.
Yeah. Oh, and then Lucic brought the cup back to Vancouver for his cup day and, like, had a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I know somebody who went and saw it when he was here.
It was down on Kits Beach during, like, the Kits Sports Day they would have, and it was like there was a kind of a ruckus, and I think it was I I don't remember much, but I do remember it was like, there was a happening with it.
Oh, okay. I was all of 8 years old when that happened, so I don't remember a lot of that other stuff. I just remember Lucic brought the cup back here, and that was about it. But yeah, the OEL situation, I do think it's unfortunate, obviously, that he got injured, and it was during a game. It's not like they shut him down in the middle of the
Yeah.
season, but obviously he had some nagging injury. Hopefully he's okay, but at the same time, it's a good thing to shut them down.
Shut them all down. This is a year I mean, just pad Kuzmenko and Pedersen stats, get Pedersen to 100 points, hope JT Miller finds his smile and his offensive game again. And outside of that, you are looking to lose games 5-4 in regulation to get the best possible lottery ticket. And I don't think it just feels a lot different this year than in years past where, part of the fan base would still have hope or management or ownership would still have that hope or that expectation. It seems like in the last 3 weeks, everybody's on board. Like, okay, what's Tankathon saying today? What are odds now that Arizona has won? Like everybody has clued in that the team they assembled and the Bruce there it is run is in the rear view, and it's time to fix things. And then this fan base, or not this fan base, but a lot of fan bases will cling to that St. Louis Blues model. Like they were in last place in January 2nd and they went on to win the Stanley Cup. We're 4 years from the Blues winning the Stanley Cup, and they trade Tarasenko and Ryan O'Reilly. So these things move quickly, and I think the market and the team themselves and the management are kind of starting to realize okay, this is what everybody wants, and we're not going to say it, but we now realize they wanted it for a long time. So shut everybody down, lose 5-4, and let's hope for the best come the draft lottery.
Yeah. I am not excited for that day. Because also...
it's going to be awful.
It's going to be awful. Because also, even if we don't even get first, the thing about this last year's draft is there was kind of a confusion of who would go first overall. It was Shane Wright, Juraj Slafkovsky. Shane Wright eventually ends up 4th overall in the weirdest sequence I've ever seen live. Because it just kept panning back to Shane Wright the entire time.
That death stare.
The death stare was iconic. Again, same level of pettiness. I understand. I understood the death stare. I understood. Of course,
we all do. We've all been in that situation.
Yeah, exactly. Other tank awareness, I guess. Montreal won 5-2 against the New Jersey Devils.
Hey, that's positive. That's positive. We are manifesting a hometown kid that is from here and wants to play here and is a diehard Canucks fan who is a generational talent. We are manifesting him coming to be drafted we are manifesting the ever-loving shit out of this. And to the chat, to everybody listening, to everybody watching, it will happen. And listen, if the draft lottery wasn't rigged, Arizona would have won it by now. It's all going to come into place.
That's a good point. Did you see the thing that Batman just put out?
What was that?
He's asking the citizens of the Tempe, Arizona, or whatever, to vote for the arena because it's now been put to a public vote.
I love that this 70-year-old man who is the commissioner of of a big four. I just he's out there glad handing, and he's I just imagine him down on a street corner or going into a grocery store being like, hey, there's a big you know how you really want that arena here? And they're like, no. It's like, well, you do. You gotta vote yes. This is what you need. You guys like hockey? You do now. He is horrible. Putting that square peg in a round hole.
Yeah. He feels like the type of guy that would lobby for that stuff, but then he would yell at Girl Scouts for not getting a permit to sell cookies. Like, I just get that energy from him. I don't know. That never, like, I was a girl guide. That never happened to me, but, like, I feel like he would still yell at us. Bedard to Nashville. You guys are just too, I don't want to say you guys are too good, but you're too mid. I am sorry.
Oh, Nashville's such a mid organization.
Nashville is such a mid. Minnesota's mid. Winnipeg is either really good or bad, so I call them mid.
Minnesota? Huh?
Miss.
The signs write
That
themselves.
That works. Yeah. Okay, so the next schedule for us is St. Louis, arguably not a playoff team.
That's a concerning stop on the old road to Bedard here, because we don't even know who's going to be playing for St. Louis by then. That could just be an AHL franchise. Everybody
an AHL franchise and Jordan Binnington.
Yeah, exactly. An AHL franchise. Don't even get this. This show will go off the rails if we start talking about Jordan Binnington as a player or a person or as a user of Twitter. It's not going to go well.
A breather of oxygen. He's the only hockey card I've ever gotten that I have not put in my hockey card binder. Like,
that's
it's
great.
I decorated it. It's all stickered and stuff. I decorated this.
I'm
not
watching.
In it.
I'm watching.
It's gonna show up in a second.
Yeah, I'm watching this feed here. Let's see this. Because I saw your stream earlier was that you were decorating. Oh, looks like a burn book. I mean, if it was a burn book, that's where you would put Jordan Binnington, but you didn't, and so he belongs.
Well, JT Miller is in here. Tyler Myers is also in here. It's the Western one.
They are doing things that will benefit this organization in the long run, and that is get us a generational player. I have been joking that, like, you know, the one thing that this franchise and this fan base and this market needs is Connor Bedard. But what would happen is the Canucks will somehow win the draft lottery, and ownership and management will learn nothing. And it's like, oh, we're done building. We're done accumulating assets. Sign everybody. We're fine now. Yeah. And very well could just go right back to ninth in the West. I'm terrified of that.
That's my worst fear. That is my worst fear. Yeah. St. Louis is next. Then we have Boston. So good.
I hear Boston's pretty good this year, but I might be incorrect. I don't have that in my notes. Are they having an NHL record-setting season? Okay.
They're okay. Yeah, they're doing all right. Everyone thought they'd be bad this year. I pinned them to not make the playoffs this year. I was thinking it's either them or Washington. Washington or Pittsburgh that's getting kicked out, and I think it's going to be Washington. But
yeah, nobody expected, you know, the goaltending tandem they had.
Oh, it's insane.
And now you look at the Boston Bruins, you're like, well, that is a perfect team. And I made this realization earlier this year. We were giving out our year-end awards on the podcast, and in terms of salary cap or best contract, I just gave it to the Boston Bruins because they have the most incredible cap-friendly page you'll ever see in your life. Only one player on the Bruins this year makes over $7 million a year.
You're kidding me.
I'm not. It is the most neat and tidy piece of business you will ever see on cap-friendly.
Oh my god. And it's Charlie McAvoy.
It's Charlie McAvoy. It's
I don't even know what to say.
Frame it in the goddamn in a modern art museum. It's incredible. I hate that it's the Boston Bruins, but they have done everything right with their cap, and they are in. It's just beautiful. It's marvelous.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
This is like, it's bringing tears to my eyes. Like, this is amazing. Yeah. This is how you rebuild a team after the Stanley Cup Finals, Francesco. Anyway, I've never hated a grown man more.
We know you're listening, Francesco.
Yeah, we know. You're very aware of Canucks Twitter. God. What a loser. Sorry. Anyway, yeah, Boston, then Dallas, who's also, like, they started pretty good. They're all right.
They are first in the Central.
They are? Okay, so then they're still really good.
They're another team that is rebuilt on the fly.
Mm.
If you go to their Hockey DB draft history, they basically drafted their entire core in 2017
Yeah.
and then shed their old bones and brought in some sensible players. Again, if the Canucks did what Boston did after 2011, or if they actually did a proper retool on the fly like Dallas did, we wouldn't be having these conversations. I mean, these tank for Bedard dialogues might not be here, but they didn't do that.
Even if we were good this year, like we were spectacular first in the Pacific, I still think people would be talking about that because he's from here. But
Yep.
Dallas did the entire 2017 draft just completely ate that up.
Yep.
just like chef's kiss, I guess. Like they just loved that draft. Minnesota is next. Then we have Toronto. So I know we're a bad team, which means that we're more likely to beat the Leafs, but I hope we don't.
No,
it's also in Vancouver.
Yeah, there are games that you want to see the Canucks win. I was talking with my dad about this, and I'm like, lose 4 or 5 for this tank for Bedard, but like give us a fun, 20% of the time you win and it's kind of fun to watch, and you hope that it's against the. Yeah, I don't really. 2011 was a long time ago. My disdain or dislike for the Boston Bruins is kind of minuscule here in 2023. But if the Canucks could beat the Maple Leafs at home, 4:00 start, Ryan O'Reilly gets undressed by Kuzmenko and Pettersson, and Mitch Marner takes a bunch of like puck over glass calls, and they make him pay. Like give us that. I'll be fine for the rest of the year. You give us that little moral victory.
I personally, I mean, this might just be because I like the Leafs.
Oh, I like them too.
It's an odd thing as a Canucks fan. Personally, I want a moral victory over Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
I just hate Vegas.
Yeah.
You know Vegas is salivating right now at all of our LTIR space right now. even though they just put Mark Stone back on LTIR.
God, just think about if we had that type of LTIR pool money, we could try and get Erik Karlsson again. Oh, man.
No. Do you know how much money they have? They have 4 players on LTIR. And it's Mark Stone, Shea Weber, Robin Leonard, and Nolan Patrick. They have
Jesus.
23,557,143 on LTIR.
That's a couple of bucks.
I wonder what they do with this money in Vegas.
I
hope they go on the Strip. But
the moral victory, yes, would be against the Vegas Golden Knights, because they are the least likable team in the NHL for the last 5 years or so. And yeah, seeing them, like, even deep down inside, I kind of felt bad for Brad Marchand losing and crying against the St. Louis Blues, and I'm like, that was his third. He just, third time, and they just lost the last 2 times. But I mean, I could watch Shea Theodore and Jack Eichel and Jonathan Marchessault cry after a elimination. Jonathan Marchessault, noted bad guy, goes into the Instagram comments and insults the appearance of people's dogs. So yeah, I'm here for that, watching them fail at things.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and the Jack Eichel, he was also one of the guys who said the similar playoff hockey comments about Buffalo, and then last year, the first year, Vegas just completely missed. Former Canuck Ben Hutton is on the Vegas Golden Knights, which I did not know until now.
Former Canuck Derek Pouliot is also in that organization. Those two are playing together this year in the NHL.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
On their active roster, the Vegas Golden Knights only have 2 players that they drafted.
Oh, that's a good. Oh man, is it Nick Hague?
Yep. And there's one forward. He's 23 years old.
Oh, that's a good one. I can't think of it right now. Who is it?
Paul Cotter.
Oh yeah, household name Paul Cotter. That's a guy that we should all know.
We should all know. Yeah, I have no idea who this man is.
I
Like,
mean,
no clue.
he was drafted in the 4th round. He's 15 points and he's a centerman, so he's making hay. That's what you want out of a 4th round draft pick.
Yeah, that is true. That is very true. I do think it's interesting how the Vegas is always in the win now mode.
Mm-hmm.
So all the draft picks, all the prospects just get thrown away. Notably, Nick Suzuki, one of them.
Oh my, yeah. The what it was. The Golden Knights are incredible because you look at what they accumulated and how they big brained the entire NHL general managing staff of like to protect these middling role players, and they just got so many draft picks and they had so many highly touted prospects, and then they gave them all away to get guys like Max Pacioretty or Mark
Who they also
Stone,
gave away for nothing.
Who they gave away for nothing. Like they are Vegas. They are bringing in so much money and they are spending even more money, and it's just
a little scary.
To sit and look at it. It's wild. It's wild to take in.
Yeah. I mean, it's Vegas is Vegas. Their projected cap hit is $96 million.
Oh, that's peanuts. They'll cover that. That's a high roller at the Bellagio. That's nothing to worry about.
Yeah. All right. Just before we get into the last little bit of the show, like, comment, subscribe.
Smash the bell.
Smash the bell for notifications. Smash it, kick it, hit it. Tanner Jeannot, pretend you're Tanner Jeannot with it. He always makes a show. Dude, can you not? Sorry, my dog's in the background. He's going insane.
What kind of dog?
He's an Australian Labradoodle, and he's supposed to be asleep right now.
Aww.
Harrison! He's still going. Oh, he is done. Awesome! I apologize for that. Hey, Vegas, you could take OEL off of us. Yeah.
Nothing mixes worse. Like there's oil and water, and then there's podcasts and streaming and dogs. So I feel that. I feel that in my soul.
I thought, because usually for like the later night games, he's asleep by then.
Mm-hmm.
He's not asleep. Kick the bell, lick the stream. Okay. Yeah. Last note of the night, Luke Schenn. Where do you think he's going? Well, Vancouver on a plane, obviously. But after that...
YVR, you dumbass. He's everything a contender wants. He's cheap as hell. He's handsome as hell. He's got that dad energy, that old man strength. He's got 21 points this year, 3 goals, 18 assists, which is sneaky for this Canucks team. So it's whoever gives up a second or a third round draft pick for him. But I think he'll go somewhere in the West because this arms race is happening back east. And I don't know. I could see like Kevin Cheveldayoff or Brad Tree Living being like, well, they got Horvat and they got Tarasenko, but we got Luke Schenn. So, the West is just as dangerous.
Trade deadline of Brad.
What about you? Where do you think he's going?
People have been talking about Tampa. People have been talking about the Leafs, both old teams wanting him back.
Mm-hmm.
Leafs especially. Considering, he has cup experience that they don't.
Well, the Leafs have like a third, a fifth, and a 6th round draft pick this year. So
yeah,
give that third to Vancouver and
he's yours.
We'll talk. I'm also not, it's the age old advice, the words of wisdom. If you love something, let it go. If it comes back, it's yours. We've let Luke Schenn go literally to the best possible place to win 2 Stanley Cups, and he kept wanting to come back here. He can go again. He can come back here. It'll be fine. I'm not worried about losing Luke Schenn.
Mm-hmm.
And if we do, well, then we'll navigate the seas of the NHL without a father figure.
Yeah. I really like Luke Schenn. I literally have he's
great.
Training camp game worn, player worn jersey from him.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely one of my favorite players. He's my background on my freaking computer. Like he is he's my favorite defenseman. On the team, like more than Quinn Hughes, who's on the poster behind me. So yeah.
What's not to dislike about Luke Schenn? Like, he is a lovable player. He's everything you want in a veteran role, and he's tough as nails. Like, he's great. I think a lot of people in this fan base, really, really admire him and want to see him back next year.
Yeah, I could definitely see, like, if they do trade him, I could 100% see him re-signing here, especially considering, I guess, like, the Kelowna connection, because he played for the Kelowna Rockets.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Myers also played there. Also, yeah, he says he really likes it in Vancouver, and I'm like, I don't want you to leave.
He really likes in Vancouver, so he's not the smartest, but he's still handsome, so that's fine. And come back, sign a 3-year deal, get a bit of a raise, finish up here. Like, there's room for him on the roster and on their cap friendly. But I think he gets it. I don't think that I think he's pretty well aware of what the Canucks are doing. And if he likes it here so much, I kind of get the feeling that he's willing to help him out a bit in this, getting dealt situation.
Yeah, I definitely could see it. Yeah, because you made a good point. We did give him up at one point, and that was like, he also set a record while he was with us for hits, and then set a record again his second time around with hits. Yeah. He's absolutely insane. If Tampa wants him, they do have a 3rd round this year. They don't have a 1st for the next 2 years. They have a 2nd for next year.
Well, let's take that 2nd off their hands. You can go win another Stanley Cup.
Who did they trade for Chicago? Oh yeah, Brandon Hagel.
Yeah, how did they get that?
Like, I don't know. I have his rookie card though, I think. Or I might be thinking the wrong guy. Anyway, yeah, Luke Schenn, and then as well, Boston. Do you think he'd go to Boston?
I don't know. He would go somewhere and be a depth guy and be like a 6, probably like a 7 or 8 defenseman, and he kind of should be on a team like that. And with a lot of teams, I always think of like, you're really screwing up that chemistry and that mojo. And adding Luke Schenn to the Bruins would be a easy and very beneficial decision in the long term, because like, you're bringing in a guy that's very consistent, can play defense, can weather the storm, can remain relatively healthy through the grind of the playoffs, and you're not really disrupting anything. So I like that, and he looks like a Boston Bruin.
He's big, tough, fights a lot of people. I could definitely see that, and I just don't know who we'd get, if we'd get anything in return. Well, like picks, obviously, but they do still have a 1st. Boston does have a 1st. And it looks like they're probably going to win the President's Trophy, so that's going to be a late 1st, but still, if Vancouver... I know Luke Schenn probably won't go for a 1st. I'm well aware of that.
Well, that'd be a 32nd overall draft pick, and back in our day, that was a 2nd round draft pick. That's how...
Oh, yeah.
See, there you go. Ugh.
They don't have a 2nd for the next 2 years though. Boston. They have a 3rd.
If you're getting a 2nd for Luke Schenn, like, that's like somebody has to get really desperate around the trade deadline to kind of cough that up. Like, that's wishful thinking. I'm like, I'd see a 3rd kind of makes sense, but if somebody wants to give a 2nd, then who you don't look a gift horse in the mouth, and I certainly wouldn't. You
know who has all 3, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd?
And probably
who's also sometimes quite desperate?
Who?
The Edmonton Oilers.
Oh God, they would love Luke Shen there. Yeah, I
Mhm.
could see that. And Ken Holland's Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl window is shrinking and shrinking. So any defense to make it easier on Jack Campbell and Stu Skinner is they're gonna take that. So I could see them throwing something a little more valuable to get him.
Yeah, and they do have 7 million in LTIR space as well.
Damn.
Yeah, 'cause they have Oscar Clefbaum, Mike Smith, and Ryan Murray.
Oh yeah, so
Ryan Murray's
they got stuff to work with.
yeah, got stuff to work with. Yeah, and especially a team that definitely struggles defensively. I'd say Edmonton could be a good place for him. I don't think we play them again this year, actually.
I got
Let me double
my
check.
I got my Canucks dog calendar to my right, and I'm just taking
Yep.
a look here.
I don't think we do. I think the season series is done. What?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
No more McDavid.
no more McDavid. So it wouldn't even be awkward if he came back to play here for one game, or we had to go to Edmonton and see. Like, honestly, I could see him going to Edmonton, and if he is able to get far with them, good for him. Do I think Edmonton would win a cup? No.
No, there's a lot of things you need to win a Stanley Cup, and Edmonton doesn't have most of them.
Yeah, personality maybe. Yeah. All right. I think that's about the end of tonight, if that is all right. We have discussed many a topic, mainly about how the Vancouver Canucks have a questionable but hopeful but questionable future. Luke Shen, obviously we won't know. I think Ian McIntyre said he's flying back to Vancouver. He requested to go back to Vancouver.
Yeah.
Obvious, to be with his family, stuff like that.
I heard something? Traded. Didn't they say during the broadcast that she can't fly right now because she's so late in her pregnancy or something?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
they would have to drive wherever they're going to.
Driving distance is Edmonton.
That's the closest
theory.
And that's a horrible drive.
Oh, it's a horrible drive. I've never done that. Why am I saying that? I've never done it, but I'm assuming it's horrible, especially now, like all the snow and everything. They did mention it. Yeah, if the deal, basically he was going to be scratched anyway as a trade related thing because they seem to be closing in on a deal, but
okay.
He requested to go home.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And if it's not within the next few days, then assume the trade kind of went down a bit. But then again, the trade deadline is a week Friday. So
yeah, that's coming up. That's going to be a fun one.
Oh,
I mean, it won't be fun. Nothing will happen that day, but the days leading up to it will be fun.
Yeah. March 3rd, nothing will happen. March 2nd, everything will happen. I remember sitting at my desk waiting for like a Brock Besser trade to be announced or JT Miller to be announced. I'm sitting at my desk at work and I'm like waiting.
Guys, it's gonna happen.
11:54. Tyler Mott to New York. I'm like, what the hell? That was it. And now he's in New York again.
They love it's always Mott Girl summer in New York.
I love Tyler Mott, so I'm not even mad. All right.
Happy
anyway,
for that kid.
Thank you for joining me, Ryan. Where can everyone find you?
I co-host Pucks on Net, a Vancouver hockey podcast riddled with rampant speculation without sources. We just put out an episode last night that was a lot of fun. It'll be available in video on our YouTube channel tomorrow morning. You can find us youtube.com/pucksonnet, and you can just type in Pucks on Net wherever you get your podcasts from. And check out our content. Follow us on socials. If you've enjoyed listening to me bullshit for an hour tonight, you might like our show. And if you haven't, then we'll go kick rocks. You know, what do you matter to me?
Thank you very much for that. All right. I have been Kaja May. You can find me on Twitter at RealKayaMay. As well, like, comment, subscribe to SDPN. Follow SDPN Sports on Twitter. And I hope everyone has a great night. And I hope Luke Shen does not get traded, because I will cry.
We all will.
Good night, especially Quinn Hughes. Good night, everybody.
Game over! Powered by Sports Interaction.